Clips.
Alrighty YouTube, another one of Kip's Clips. So a wee bit of news about what's happening, not so much the South China Sea, where there's still a lot of tensions between the Chiners and the Yankees in that area of the world, trying to control the shipping lanes. They're very important for the future shipping lanes of the world. And we all know Trump is going to stop war with China now because he's one big peace-loving... I can't stop going on about this guy. I can't hear anybody that's like... I need to say I'm losing a lot. I'm actually losing the confidence that Mike Rivero's real. I really, genuinely am. I don't like Trump's decision not to prosecute Hillary Clinton, but I can understand it. He's been a politician. We want Trump elected because he's not a politician. The guy's a proven liar. Fact. Other people aren't. So let's have a wee shifty about what's happening over here and get rid of one of my ignorances and hopefully improve other people's knowledge a wee bit. So Russia deploys anti-ship missiles on disputed isles of... Okay, yeah, that's right. I pronounced it absolutely spot on. I got one of my Jap friends to tell me how to do it. The Russian Navy's Pacific Fleet has deployed state-of-the-art anti-ship missile systems on two of the islands of Hokkaido, claimed by Japan. The fleet's newspaper reported recently. The Bastion missile system has been installed on those islands, according to the report. Russian Defence Minister Spokeshole said in March his country would deploy the surface-to-surface missile systems on the islands before the end of the year. Right, area's quite important. It's not new news. This is getting regurgitated. Now maybe you could say, like, oh, they reported on it now, they're just reporting about the installation. I see this as part of the war rhetoric. Look, they're going to come and get us. Look, missiles, ships, bombs and bullets everywhere. Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, we're in a kind of arms race and military build-up all round the world. Everywhere, probably almost every corner. Practically every corner. But don't worry, Trump is here to save us. Right, so I'll leave a link. Links for all this are down below, by the way. The row over the 4 Russian-held islands of Hokkaido has prevented the two countries from signing a peace treaty following World War II. The report comes as Prime Minister Abe said on Monday in Buenos Aires that signing the treaty will require a relationship of trust between himself and Putin. A day earlier, Putin poured cold water on Japanese hopes of quickly concluding a World War II peace treaty. Putin said such an agreement is not an easy path, reiterating that the contested islands seized from Japan by Soviet Union at the end of World War II in 1945. We'll go into that in a wee second. Fall under Russian sovereignty. The islands... those ones, as well as the fucking... I'm not going to try and embarrass myself further by pronouncing that pish. Were seized by the Soviet Union following Japan's surrender in August 1945. The islands are called the Northern Territories in Japan and the Southern Kurils in Russia. The deployment of the missile systems, blah, blah. I'll leave a link for that down below if you want to go and finish off that piss. This is what I mean by improving one of my ignorances. I think in the past I've said that technically Russia and Japan are still at war with each other because they hadn't signed a peace treaty since World War II. A wee bit of information, it's splitting hairs and stuff, but definitely worth going into. This how it is. The rule. Right, let me see. In the aftermath of World War II, the San Francisco Peace Treaty was signed in 1951, which most of the Allied states, which guaranteed Japan's independence and territorial integrity, and the terms under which Japan was readmitted into the international community. The Soviet government was part of the discussions leading up to the signing of the treaty, but they did not sign in protest to the fact that the US decided to omit communist China from the discussions. Therefore, even though a ceasefire was in place, Soviet Union and Japan did not have a diplomatic relation at the time. Fast forward 5 years, Soviet Union and Japan signed a joint declaration where the diplomatic relations were restored. So the argument is that's technically when war ended, when they've got diplomats, they've got embassies, they're actually talking on a political level. Were restored at the end of the war. Restored within the declaration, which included a formal end to the war, exchange of all remaining prisoners and Soviet support for Japan joining the UN. Also within the declaration, it was agreed that the two of the smaller islands within the disputed Kuril Islands chain would be returned upon the signing of a former peace treaty. It is at this point where the war ended. So what they're saying there is there hasn't been a peace treaty. If there is a peace treaty, that's when the islands are agreed to go back to Japan. So that's what we're talking about. But let's have a wee look at these islands, where they are, so on and so forth. That's the island that they're talking about. It was just off the coast. This area here is Rushki. This area up here is Rushki. Most of these islands down here are Rushki. And that's Japan. And what they're talking about is, I'm not exactly sure what ones. I think it's these ones here. Go and look on, stick it into your Googles and you'll get the exact location of these islands. But you can see from here, strategically speaking, in this area, they're very important. Obviously, Russia kind of borders this whole Sea of Okhotsk. And if Japan get a hold of the islands, which Japan is still technically occupied by America, you could see why Russia is not so quick to relinquish them. Then, if we have a wee shifty, I just realised I didn't show you that good. And yeah, well, I'm getting used to this live streaming malarkey. So there you have. Sorry, these are the islands I'm talking about here. Here's the island. That's Russian territory. That's Russian territory. The vast majority of that's Russian territory. And the islands that are in dispute are these wee small chain of that larger island off there. Then if you look up here, you've got American territory. I'm not exactly sure where America claims the islands down there, but you can go and check that out on the Googles. Now, what I also wanted to touch on is Japan. This was out yesterday. Japan has deployed troops outside its country for the first time since World War II. So what you're witnessing here is a lot of the countries that were locked in a box after World War II, Japan for example, Germany for example, their militaries are now getting let loose on the world again. Happy days! It's what we need. Love bombs and bullets everywhere to keep us all enslaved by governments, full stop. I mean, nobody's actually talking about real freedom. The fact that you do not have an owner, you do not have a government, sovereignty lies within you. It's only somebody that's conned you into thinking you have to take rules and regulations for somewhere else. Natural law, clean sweep, that's it. Don't shit in my doorstep, I don't shit in yours. Don't tell me what to do, and I won't tell you what to do. Simples. But we had religion and governments and all these man-made constructs, including religion, to just control us. So there's Japan on the front foot militarily. Now, what was weird about this was in Sudan. Peacekeepers, combat-ready troops. Yeah, Japan deploys combat-authorised troops overseas for the first time since World War II. Japan deploys peacekeepers with fairy dusters and sparkles and shiny things. No, they've got guns and bullets and we'll point them at you and go, do what we say or we'll fucking shoot you. How'd you like that for peacekeepers? Aye, great. Peacekeepers will have the ability to use force. Peacekeepers use force, oxymoron, to protect civilians and UN staff. Ah, Mr. Sorry, you don't look very frightening. Not like the Japs from World War II, no. Is that China or Japanese? I don't know. So there's, and sorry, I was going to say this is in Sudan. We just South Sudan. I was right. No, South Sudan. Now, if you go and see what's interesting about South Sudan, if you think there's anything interesting about South Sudan, not Zinedine Zidane, South Sudan. This is one of the world's newest countries, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm relatively right. One of the country's most recently invented countries. Obviously, right, here we go. Now, this is obvious. I say obviously. For me, this is just getting Japan's feet wet again. It's just getting the Japanese citizens and the world citizens getting used to hearing that the Japs have boots on the ground again. Forget about all that World War II torture shit and how bad they were and the fact we had to fucking nuclear bomb them because we're the good guys, remember? Forget all that. Japs are all good in the hood now. We've had them under American occupation since the end of World War II. We have reframed, restructured their mind. They no longer do their kamikaze bullshit. They now, they're now a slave to money and corporations instead of their emperor. So aye, interesting times. Japs on the ground and Russian missiles. And where my mouse is. And Ruski missiles just off islands that are disputed with the Japs. Yeah. Those islands, right. It looks different, just a different angle. So all links are below if you want to go and check this out. Thumbs it up, share it on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Links below for PayPal and Patreon. Anybody that wants to show my bullcrap any support, leave all your comments, good, bad, ugly and indifferent. Read and respond to as many as I can. Alrighty, YouTube, thanks for listening. Yeah, cheers.
And the rats and the race and those peasants in the days like a head up on the aces if we apart.